Hello friends, and welcome to this week's Friday Fire. David Copeland with you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this week's video. We're so glad to be back producing the Friday Fire video emails after 5 weeks in Kenya and then a couple of weeks off to recover from that trip. We're so grateful to God for allowing us to see over 1,000 people saved while we were in Kenya. Hundreds of people touched by the healing hand of God, hundreds of people filled with the Holy Spirit, and that was all made possible by the friends and the partners of Revival Now Ministries. If you missed that update from Lodwar, Kenya, we produced a Friday Fire video from Lodwar, Kenya, showing an outreach that we were able to do there in one of the villages close by that had been decimated by the famine. You can go to our website, www.revivalnow.org/media, and just scroll down the page there and you'll see the Friday Fire from Lodwar, Kenya. It's 11 minutes and it will show you exactly what the giving and the prayers and the support of Revival Now Ministries goes for. We're coming to you today from the beautiful sanctuary of Westview Assembly of God in Opp, Alabama. We're so happy today, this week, to have been with Pastors Philip and Jane Rayburn, some dear friends of ours, and we have known them for many years and had many opportunities to minister in this sanctuary. And this week we have seen people give their life to Jesus. We have heard testimonies of the healing power of God move on people. And we have seen a hunger and a thirst awaken in people's hearts and in people's lives that has blessed me and Pam. Everywhere I go, and I know that I have discussed this as somewhat of a devotion on Friday Fire before, but almost everywhere I go, I have people ask me the question. They say, "Brother David, why is it that it seems like that the Holy Spirit is just not moving and convicting and dealing with people like He used to?" In John chapter 6, in verse 44, Jesus utters these words that just literally scream out in my spirit today. He said, "No man can come to me except the Father which hath sent me draw him." No man can come to me unless the Father which hath sent me draw him. In my living for God and in all the time that I've served God and preached the gospel, I have found out that there are, at least in my life, there are 3 distinct moves of the Holy Spirit in the life of the believer. First, the first move of the Holy Spirit in the life of the believer is to bring you to salvation, because Jesus is very clear here that a person cannot be born again. A person cannot come to the Father unless the Holy Spirit draws him. Paul said it this way in the book of Romans chapter 8. He said that if any man does not have the Spirit of Christ, then he's not of His. He's none of His. He does not belong to God. So when you give your life to Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit takes up residence. He draws you to the Father and takes up residence in your life. The second working of the Holy Spirit in the life of the believer is in the baptism in the Holy Spirit. Now, I realize that there are many people watching this video today that probably does not believe in this experience and this encounter called the baptism in the Holy Spirit. But it is an encounter with God that God gave to the early church in the book of Acts. And I know there's great argument, and many theologians say that passed away when the disciples died and we have the canon of the Bible now. But friends, all I know is that in September of 1981, I was not seeking after tongues. I was not seeking after prophecy. I was not asking God for the gift of the word of knowledge or of special revelation or of the gift of faith. I was so hungry and thirsty for God. All I knew is I needed to get closer to God. And one night in my prayer time in my bathroom in the little town of Soddy Daisy, Tennessee that we lived in 1981, no one was in that bathroom shaking me. No one was beating me on the head. No one was clipping my heels out from under me. But the Holy Spirit came on me in such a mighty way that I began to speak in a language that I had never known. Nobody was teaching me to do it. I wasn't reciting what I'd heard someone else say. The Holy Spirit brought me into a fresh baptism. But not only does the Holy Spirit work in us and on us to bring us to salvation, to bring us into a fresh baptism of the Holy Spirit, He also gives us special seasons in which the Holy Spirit moves on you. The Holy Spirit will deal with you. The Holy Spirit will convict you. The Holy Spirit will draw you to pray more, to fast more, to worship harder, to worship more intensely, to draw closer to God than you've ever been before. Jesus settles it right here. No man can come to Him unless the Father, which hath sent me, draw him. And He draws us by the Holy Spirit. I want to answer the question, why is it that it seems like the Holy Spirit is not convicting and drawing like He used to? Friends, I want to tell you, one of the last phrases we hear God echo in the book of Malachi chapter 4 through the prophet to the nation who had rejected His leadership and lordship. He says, I am the Lord and I change not. The problem is not with the Holy Spirit. The problem is not even that pastors are not preaching like they used to. And I realize that there are those that are in the ministry for the rock star status, and they're in it for the ego, because of the ego that's as big as this sanctuary that I'm standing in today. But I want to tell you, every single pastor I know, I'm not ashamed to say that every single pastor I know loves God and is in the ministry because they know that the Holy Spirit is drawing people to the Father. Friends, if you don't sense that the Holy Spirit is drawing and moving and working as strong as He used to, the problem is not with God. The problem is, and could be, that we have quenched Him, that we have resisted Him. Could it be that we have ignored the pleadings and the yearning and the drawing of the Holy Spirit so much that He has quit dealing with some of us? I pray that that's not so. Don't harden your heart, friends. If the Holy Spirit is drawing you, yield to that. You know what to do. You don't need a 3 or 7 or a 10-point sermon on how to hear the voice of God. You know when the Spirit is dealing with you. Don't resist Him. Don't ignore Him. Don't make excuses to Him. Just give in to Him. And I promise you, when you leave that place of encounter with the Lord, you will know that you are closer to Him than you've ever been in your life. Join us this weekend, Sunday, September the 18th through the 21st. On Wednesday the 21st, Pam and I will be in Graysville, Tennessee at the Unity Gospel Tabernacle with Pastors Douglas and Candace Graham. We would love to see all of our friends and partners in the Southeast Tennessee area come and be with us. Also on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, September the 23rd through the 25th, Pam and I will be with Pastors Lane and Vicki Farley at First Assembly of God in LaGrange, Georgia. And we will end the Sunday service in a great homecoming celebration there at First Assembly in LaGrange. For more information, you can visit our website, www.revivalnow.org/schedule for a complete listing. There's also directions to all of these places where we are going to be ministering at in the coming days and weeks and months. I want to tell you, friends, God is not finished with me. God is not finished with you, and God is not finished with the church. The best is yet to come. And may the fire of the Holy Spirit fall in your life this weekend. God bless you, friends.